What's going on, everybody? This video was brought to you by yours truly, Infinite47, and by Capcom for Street Fighter VI's Year 4 character reveal trailer featuring Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. Something that I don't think anybody would have, really predicted in 100 years. Definitely not me. And also we'll get into all that past, after we watch this, right? And it's a very short trailer too.
Street Fighter VI is already
I didn't even get my
year
sermon
4,
with
but I can
Ingrid,
sense that we already
I
have
might
new
get a
challengers
segment
on
on
the
that
horizon.
in this video. Yasmin. And from what I heard, she's a Filipino fighter of some kind. Arjun Veen from the Middle East. And then for some reason, a World Tour character being a part of the main lineup now.
Fascinating.
And we're not done, because that's only 3 characters, right? And of course, confirming everything that's said in the leaks, or at least 25% of the way, right? Tifa is indeed now a part of the main lineup. And now begins the sermon as to everything that we've seen right here and what's been happening, right? Because I definitely want to get my take out just because I feel like there's a lot I could say that is not really expressed by anybody. But who knows? There may be a crowd out there that kind of feels the same way that I do when it comes to this shit. But if not, then I'm definitely gonna be the one to stand alone in this hill right here. Cause I hear a lot of things when it comes to Street Fighters, like DLC lineup in general, right? Throughout its history, people love their legacy characters, right? People love the absolute shit about, whatever, like even people locally that I know, like I have one guy say that they want to see like Cody, another saying they want to see Makoto, Dudley, and that's what's been said like online too, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, I would want to see Fei Long come back at some point, but I don't think that's gonna happen at all ever, sadly. But like then I see like this small like community of people that that like actually hate the appearance of like original characters or guest characters, right? And I'm a bit confused by that, because when Terry and Mai, for example, had released, like there was actually a good portion of people that were actually angry about that, because they knew that there was going to be less slots for more legacy characters to come back. And in my opinion, like we don't need the entire lineup to be just all legacy characters, right? Like you see these, like some of these guys I don't care about. Like Rashid coming back, I don't really give a fuck about, right? Alex coming back, I don't care. Viper coming back, I think that's valid, right? I don't even play the character, but she's only been in one Street Fighter game, right? And also, the only other game that she's been in was in Marvel vs. Capcom, so I think her reappearance was long overdue. And the way that she's designed in this game, in my opinion, is an upgrade while staying true to what she was fundamentally in Street Fighter 4. So I think her appearance was a good one, right? Sagat, I love Sagat, so honestly I have a bias there. But I feel like hype around that kind of like simmered down quickly and stuff once he got settled in. I already mentioned it. I literally just mentioned it. I don't care about Alex. Ingrid, she's not a legacy character, but she's not entirely new either. She has been in the Street Fighter game, but she is not Street Fighter based. Like her origin was in a canceled fighting game, and also in another fighting game that was hot ass from what everyone's told me. So, people were kind of iffy on that, but out of nowhere, like the game fucking peaked on Steam. Everybody locally around my area just randomly started to show up for the game. Like people love the cute petite anime girl trope that much. Apparently, I'm not on that. I'm not gonna lie. I really don't share a lot of the same headspace that's kind of universal within this community. I've said this before, which is why like I kind of shy away from saying things just because I know like these are not, it's not gonna roll well with people, but at the same time it's my platform. I can say what I want and I'm gonna give my own thoughts and opinions on this shit, right? I'm not into the whole like gooning thing, right? In that community, which a lot of people are. And don't tell me that you guys are not, because every time I see like I run into a lot of players online, there's always some like random horny ass club name attached to like them that's like Jury's like sex feet fucking something, or like Cammy's big juicy ass, like all that weird shit, right? And I'm like, it's no wonder why people don't want to go play fighting games and stuff, right? It's not even half the time about like execution and people getting their ass whipped online. It's because of that weird shit. Like, but I'm not gonna offend you guys anymore that are into that. We're here to talk about the season 4 lineup, right? And DLC characters. But what I was rambling on was the fact that, I've seen that a lot of people are willing to cry more when they don't see their own favorite character get picked out. Honestly, like, I guess I can't really complain too much, because every time a new game does get released, since I pretty much play Shotos all around, like Ryu's always going to be a part of it, Ken's always going to be a part of it, and even if Akuma is set aside to be DLC, like he's a guaranteed pick for DLC every time, right? Like he's way too popular of a character not to be in any Street Fighter game moving on forward, right? But the other characters are a dice roll, right? Like Dudley, Makoto, who else? That I hear often. Dudley, Makoto, Cody, yeah, he's one also. Guy, I've heard, even though like Kimberly already filled that Bushin Ryu role. And honestly, like I said, like I want to see Fei Long come back, but the situation there is already like iffy, because there's something with like the Bruce Lee Foundation that doesn't want them to be like imitated by like other fictional media, which is bullshit, because Law is still in Tekken 8, but Capcom, I guess, doesn't want to get their panties wet and step into that pool, which, fucking Capcom, you bitch. Put in fucking Fei Long. And I'll be happy. I don't give a fuck who else gets released. But, it's... I think it's, in my opinion, like, there should be, like, a balance between, having a legacy character be released and, having, like, original characters also, because... Like I said, I would replace Alex and Ingrid, like any day of the week, in order to have like original characters that are cool, right? Because there's no guarantee that any new character would be like would come in with like a good design. Like we definitely had bad characters before in Street Fighter. Like, to me, Rufus and El Fuerte are like some of the worst characters to ever show up in a Street Fighter game, hands down. But everybody so far has been like, they've been okay. There's not really a bad Street Fighter character, like a bad one, you know. Lily, like the only character that comes to mind is Lily, right? And she's like she's kind of like what I said about Ingrid, right? It's like some about those like weird like um those kinds of like small little cartoony characters. Like she for example reminds me of like a Dora the Explorer. She gives me like Dora the Explorer vibes, right? And I'm not into that, right? Well, what I've been saying about Ingrid was like she's giving me like Peter Pan, like Disney princess type vibes versus like, I don't know, this strange, weird, like horny mock-up of a petite, cute anime girl that everybody has in their own head, right? I don't know. That's just the way I see it. And then when I look at this lineup, like I don't see Yasmin in that way. BOSCH, like I'll still see him as like the NPC boss of the World Tour, right? I don't know how they're gonna design him in for the main lineup. Arjun, I'm not really into the big body characters, and I seen he blew a gust of wind. Um, he's just gonna be a big body Rashid, you know. And from what I see, there's not much I could say. Tifa, if I think I already said it, but I'll mention it again, right? I think she's gonna be like a like a mix between like a Shoto and like Cammy, right? Like that kind of archetype of character, because like at this, the reason why I say Shoto, right, is because like she literally did a fucking Shoryuken right here. So, you know, automatically I'm thinking she's gonna have like an uppercut DP like most Shotos have. But she doesn't have, like, from what I know about this character in the Final Fantasy series, is she doesn't have any like key based powers like how some of the other characters do. She's just really good at martial arts, right? So she's just what's in my head is I think is she's gonna have like target combos, right? She's gonna have target combos. She's probably gonna have a Rekka of some kind, some tool to get around fireballs, like how Cammy has like spin knuckle and shit. And she's gonna have good normals, right? And she's probably gonna have like good walk speed that goes along with it. I actually think I like the mock-up that I have in my head so far is she's definitely gonna be like a mix between like a Shoto and a Cammy 2.0, right? But I feel like that would actually be a pretty good character, you know, because you know that's a character that's very like dynamic, right? That's able to do all that. But not, I don't know why. I don't know. My head's just trying to like fill in the gaps of like what could be, you know. But I feel like for somehow, some way, she's gonna be like, I mean, every DLC character so far, aside from like Alex, has been like really good in their own way. Definitely, Tifa might be that character that we will be considered, or at least I wouldn't be surprised if the way that she turns out later on in the future is by her being like a busted character in some kind of way. But you know, that's pretty much all I can say so far. As far as BOSCH goes, like I can't even remember how he played, like what his moves were as a CPU in the World Tour. And I even think during the beginning he was just like one of those NPCs that would take on like the master moves. So like basically the move set of an already existing main lineup character, like how some NPCs would do like Honda's moves, like his normals, his specials. Some would do like, I mean, there were a few that actually did have their own original things by like like throwing fucking Molotovs and water bottle like rocks and shit. And some had like some weird like tackle command grab and shit. And some did like their like a charge. It's not exactly like it kind of worked in a way that how Luke's heavy knuckle punch worked, but it wasn't exactly that, you know. Like there like some NPCs in World Tour actually had original moves to them, which maybe Bosch will borrow some of that. But if that's the case, then it's gonna be disappointing to know that it's kind of like the whole Dragon Ball Daima situation where it's like reused animations, you know, stitched together into one character with an already existing character model. So I don't think it's gonna happen in that way. I feel like he will be different, right? Like they're actually gonna do new things with him there. Maybe have some elements of his World Tour appearance between like when he was normal and when he got possessed by like psycho power. But I'm just not really I'm not really feeling so hot on him being a part of the lineup because I feel like you honestly could take him out and put in a legacy character, you know, if there had to be one, right? And honestly, I wouldn't mind the split between like having two legacy characters, Yasmin being the original, and then Tifa can be the guest, right? Like to me, that's the perfect split that you would want for a DLC lineup. If you're gonna do 4 characters out of the year, 2 legacy, 1 original, 1 guest. Boom, everybody's happy. But that's not really what happened in this case, right? And I don't know. Some people may just feel different. Some people might not even care. Honestly, like the way that people talk, it's like, you know, if they just release this one character, I mean, I can't lie, I just did that too with Fei Long, but if they release this character, I don't give a fuck who else they put in, right? And like I said, I literally said that about Fei Long. Like, if they bring Fei Long back in, I literally don't care who comes back, who else comes back, right? Or how they structure the DLC after, but you know, I think so it's fair for everybody. You know, the formula I just had explained with 2 legacy, 1 original, 1 guest is fine, right? Because, you know, I knew once they released Terry and Mai, like, they were not going to be the only guest characters to appear. As far as Tifa coming back, did not see that happening. A Tekken character, definitely was expecting that first, but maybe that'll happen in a season 5 if we get that. But by the way that things are looking so far, I feel like they're starting to cut down corners. And, you know, the evidence in that statement is by, you know, what they themselves have said about not wanting to, or not further creating like major content for like World Tour, right? Because I imagine it does take a bit of a budget to make those cinematics, get the voice acting done for that, both Japanese and in English, and doing the missions and stuff. They probably are not getting the same kind of budget to do that for the later seasons, right? Which is, it kind of bums me out specifically, not because I play World Tour, but because of the fact that the cinematics have been a big part of like the videos that I make. You know, if you've checked out my videos, and you would know I use elements of the World Tour cinematics for like intros, outros, interludes, and stuff to go along with the music. And it's gonna suck when there does come a DLC character around that I actually do have an interest in playing, and I want to get a video out for it. But you know, I'm not really able to construct my videos in the same way that I have with the other characters, because now though they're not coming as complete as the characters that have been released so far. And you know, it just as a creator, an actual like content creator, it feels, Well, actually, not even just that, but through like the artist lens, like it feels like now my work is now going to be um missing something. There's a void there. Like it's going to feel a lot more emptier than what it could be, because now I don't have that. Not really saying that it's the end of the world and stuff, but definitely will be taking a hit on that because of how I like to structure my videos. But it is what it is. I'm sure later down the line when Yasmin or Tifa comes out, like I'm definitely gonna be giving those two a shot. Um, I'm gonna be expecting a lot to see out of what will turn out from BOSCH, because I really could do without that character. I'm not really a fan of BOSCH. He was just kind of there to be some like edgy rival of some kind. I heard Japan was more of a fan of him, and honestly, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, I wouldn't be surprised. The way that Japan uh kind of has their takes on the game is definitely a lot different than what we have out in the West. Arjun, like I said, I'm not really into the big body characters, and with even what I see right now with him, it's like he doesn't draw me in. Definitely the two females right here, right? But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, honestly. I'd be interested into hearing what everybody else has to say. Oh, but actually, nah, I'm gonna just keep it on to this, right? Like I had my chance to talk about, you know, other things, but I'm probably just gonna have to, leave that for a different video in the future, because I'm trying to make these a lot shorter, because I do like to go on. So I'm gonna end things off right here. Like and subscribe if you like these. You know what I mean? Because I still be posting around and stuff, but of course, the summertime, everybody's wanting to go outside, even me, right? So I'm gonna get up on out of here, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. This is Infinite 47, and I'll be seeing you all around. Peace.